Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there. That simple line might be Obi-Wan's most famous moment, but does that make him a legendary Jedi or just the galaxy's most patient diplomat? Obi-Wan Kenobi is known as the calm, collected Jedi Master, yet much of his story is chasing after his former apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who fell to the dark side. He's often seen as the wise mentor, but was he really all that sharp? He battled Darth Maul and lived to tell the tale. He faced Count Dooku and General Grievous, showing off impressive skills. But how many times did he hesitate or let his enemies escape? His caution sometimes felt more like stalling than strategy. After Order 66 wiped out most Jedi, Obi-Wan went into exile, hiding on Tatooine to watch over young Luke Skywalker. The broken man we met in the Disney Plus series shows a Jedi weighed down by guilt and loss, struggling to find purpose after his failures. Even then, his advice to strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than you can imagine, comes off as noble but also stuck in old Jedi dogma. Fans are split. Is Obi-Wan the calm voice of reason, a patient master who plays the long game, or was he just too slow to adapt, burdened by tradition and regrets? Either way, without his signature "hello there," we wouldn't have some of the most iconic Star Wars moments that fans still love to quote today. Mace Windu. Queen's speech interrupted? No worries. Mace Windu's glare says it all. He's the poster child for rule stickler turned legend, yet I've seen toasters with more warmth. He duels Dooku, slices through droids, then lectures Anakin like a bored schoolmaster. Overrated much? He benches the Chosen One for being too old and too angry, then flips when Palpatine drops the Sith reveal bomb. Sure, he disarms Sidious in style, but pauses to haggle Jedi legalese, a classic move that gets you Force lightning. Talk about a hero's blunder. If someone ever asked me to name the overrated master of protocol, Windu's purple blade deflects all competition. Windu led assault teams across the galaxy. He warned Yoda and the Council that the Force was clouded, yet they ignored his doubts. Every mission showed his skill as a general, but also a struggle with politics he despised. He battled bounty hunters, clashed with dark mercenaries. His strict code made some fans groan. He could cut Darth Sidious in half, but couldn't cut loose a smile, they joke. His rigidity pushed Anakin toward doubt and anger. Where other Jedi showed warmth, Windu showed only resolve. His caution was valid in every crisis, yet his steel-bound hearts fueled the very clash he feared. He mastered Vapad to channel his inner storm, turning his dark edge into strength. His purple blade became a symbol of his unique power on the battlefield. He deflected blaster fire, redirected lightning, and sliced through tyranny with grace. In the end, his fall marked the Jedi's greatest loss, a hero whose greatest flaw was loving rules more than people. Yoda. You trust the wise old sage? I did, until he nearly led Palpatine waltz to galactic takeover. Yoda's the MVP of cryptic advice and fancy footwork, but how do you miss a Sith boss hiding in plain sight? Yes, he survives Order 66 and schools Luke on Dagobah, but have you ever noticed how he speaks in riddles when you just want a straight answer? Do or do not. Great line, but a little clarity would have saved thousands. Overrated legend or brilliant tactician? I'm still on the fence. Fans griped that Yoda kept his distance, debating separated strategy instead of confronting evil on Coruscant. He led clone legions at Geonosis at Kashyyyk, only to retreat into Dagobah exile after a Senate duel with Sidious ended in stalemate. In-universe, he abandoned the temple to survive. On Dagobah, he built a swamp hut, meditated with fireflies, and spoke only through obscured riddles. He watched from afar as Kenobi and Leia built hope among the rebels. He faced down his failures in the Cave of Illusions, learning that even a Grandmaster must confront doubts. Irony, the ultimate teacher stuck in an outdated curriculum. Yoda preached letting go of attachment, yet mourned Obi-Wan and Anakin almost as deeply as any Padawan. He taught nimble Ataru leaps when lightsaber duels demanded acrobatics, but resisted new tactics that clashed with ancient texts. His lessons sometimes tripped over relics of past wars. Most tellingly, Yoda didn't fully learn from Anakin's tragic fall. He sent Luke to confront Vader, his father, in a duel that risked death, hoping it would bring balance. This move shows Yoda was still stuck in the past, relying on old Jedi ways instead of adapting to a new reality. Taught us to unlearn fear, but forgot to unlearn denial. Even as a Force spirit, he sparked lightning to burn Jedi tomes, reminding Luke that destruction can clear the path to growth. Yoda's legacy lives in every apprentice who learned from his triumphs and his blind spots, proving that wisdom roots itself in both success and failure. Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ever meet a walking logic puzzle? At 7 feet tall, he towers over the council, yet somehow never overcomes his rulebook. I mean, he votes no on mercy, yes on endless war, then blinks when his clones turn on him. Overrated diplomats or just stuck in robotic mode. Fans grumbled at his aloof stare and how he dismissed clone troopers as mindless tools. He preached that Jedi are keepers of peace, not soldiers, while green-lighting wave after wave of clone armies. On Geonosis, his steady form deflected blaster fire as he led troopers into battle. Later on, Mygeeto Order 66 saw those same clones turn their guns and end his life. He spoke with clip precision that could chill Corellian vodka. When Padme begged mercy for separated civilians, he offered only logic and procedure. He lectured Anakin about discipline, yet trusted Palpatine's emergency powers without question. In the Battle of Christophsis, he marshaled clones through enemy fire with calm resolve. He planned strikes on droid foundries and even survived a swarm of brain-warped Geonosians. At Dantooine, he sent supplies to wounded Jedi despite his doubts about military roles. The paradox stinks. He warned of endless war but backed every mobilization vote. He slammed political meddling, yet survived as both diplomat and general on Ryloth. His mantra of peace rang hollow amid the roar of starfighter engines. He wore pristine robes into war zones, an odd sight among battle-scarred clones. Conehead Counselor meets Conehead tank droids became the garrison joke on Geonosis. His skull is more famous than his speeches. He froze under pressure when Dooku's betrayal came, but rallied for every campaign. His twin-lobed skull became a landmark for both allies and droids. On Mygeeto, his final act was deflecting shots before falling to betrayal. His legacy lives on in hollow records and the whispers of surviving clones. A master of calm logic, he paid the price for waging peace with a soldier's sword. Luminara Unduli. She might as well have been a statue, so calm you forget you're at war. I respect discipline, but when your Padawan's pulling your leg, and you won't even crack a grin, let's just say her perfect control can feel eerily cold. Overrated mentor or secret ice queen. But in a war where hearts cracked and friendship shattered, that calm turned into distance. Her every moment was precise and graceful. Her green skin and black tattoos framed a calm voice untouched by doubt. Students whispered that she looked too perfect to be real. Her voice cut through a crowd with quiet power and exact purpose. Fans complained that she stayed too distant from her Padawan. Barriss Offee. While Barriss opened up, Luminara held her emotions in a steel trap. Viewers called her bond colder than the ice fields of Gorsh. Her stoic stare rarely cracked a smile, or a sort of warmth. She taught rules over feelings. In the Clone Wars, she led Form 3 drills for younglings. She fought droid armies at Geonosis, cutting through squads with her green blade and cool logic. Before the war, she mentored young Jedi like Caleb Dume, and counseled Ahsoka in diplomacy. She survived Ventress's ambush despite a wounded eye. She lectured senators on war ethics and sat on strategy councils with Palpatine. Her calm plan freed captured senators in the Tranquility attack. She rallied clones under fire and built makeshift med stations on droid worlds. At Kashyyyk, she directed Wookiee defenses until Order 66 cut it short. She put duty above all else. Her rulebook left no space for empathy. When Barriss snapped and bombed the temple, it proved that cold logic alone can backfire. Passionless service carved cracks in her order and in her soul. Barriss Offee. Remember that friendly healer who suddenly bombs her own temple? I still can't decide if she's a whistleblower or a villain. One moment she's stitching you up, the next she's framing your best friend. Talk about an overrated road to reform. She spent long hours tending to injured Jedi at the temple clinic. Then she stepped away under the cover of night and planted nano-droid bombs in the temple hangar. When those tiny machines exploded, she watched the Grand Hall fill with smoke and dust. When the dust settled, she confessed. Fans felt the betrayal in a personal way. Ahsoka, her closest friend, saw Barriss as a partner in adventure and study. We all cheered her when they shared jokes in the library or sneaked away from drills. Then Barriss used Asajj, Ventress's mask, and lightsabers to frame Ahsoka for the crime. Seeing Ahsoka dragged before the council left many viewers shouting at their screens. Barriss grew tired of the endless war. She read ancient texts and argued that Jedi had become soldiers instead of guardians of peace. She planted bombs as a bold statement against the order she believed has lost its way. When the dust settled, she confessed, explaining she wanted to force everyone to question their loyalties. At the trial, Barriss waited calmly while Ahsoka faced expulsion and shame. Only at the final moment did she confess and clear her friend's name. Her speech blamed Jedi pride for fueling the war. She returned her lightsaber silently and walked out as stunned guards watched. Ashoka left the Order with nothing but questions and pain, carrying the weight of betrayal into the unknown. Debates still swirl over Barris's motives. Some call her a whistleblower who shed light on Jedi hubris. Others see her as a tragic figure who let anger blind her better nature. In the end, she broke the rules by bombing the rulemakers and showed how easily ideals can turn to weapons when fear takes hold in sad, desperate hearts. Pong Krell, 4 arms and 0 empathy. He's the guerrilla war strategist you love to hate. I get the vision thing, but ordering clones to slaughter each other? That's more mad scientist than master tactician, overrated genius, or just plain nightmare fuel. He won tough battles and held the record for most clone losses under his command. Fans still grumbled that his tactics felt cruel, sacrificing squads of brothers like they were expendable parts. On Umbara, he swapped places with Skywalker, ordering the 501st into traps and pits. Clones accused him of cold-blooded trickery when he pitted one unit against another in a deadly dance of blaster fire. They captured him after he tried to butcher loyal troopers for disobedience, and Krell's reign of terror stopped. Clones whispered that Krell's visions of the Jedi's fall and the Republic's collapse made sense. He spoke of a new order rising and claimed he'd earn a spot by backing the winning side. Yet he chose slaughter over careful strategy and payback over patience. He could have shared warnings or planned smarter moves, but instead, he broke faith and blades alike. His betrayal left scars in every legion. Captain Rex and squadmates spent days tracking the Rogue Master through the jungle, dodging multicolored sparks from his whirling lightsabers. They watched him leap like a wild beast, spinning sabers that cut through armor. Then he vanished into trees and shadows, mocking their fear before falling into his trap. Clutching his arms, he met his end with defiant fury. Some say he was a tragic figure, a Jedi led astray by grim foresights. Others call him a lunatic who lets nightmarish premonitions excuse mass murder. Either way, Krell's name still rings in barracks as a warning. Even a master's mind can warp when hope fades. Multi-armed master of making clones panic. Jocasta Nu. I've had librarians who were strict, but she takes show me the source to hardcore levels. Overrated on record keeping, underrated on open minds. She held the codes to vaults and holocrons, knowing every shelf and data crystal. Long before the Clone Wars, she rose from Padawan to Chief Librarian, earning a seat on the High Council. Obi-Wan found her a brick wall when he asked for Kamino's record. Nu's answer, if it isn't in my files, it doesn't exist. Clones still laugh at her stubborn stance on missing worlds. Fans gripe that her motto might as well have been, show me in the archives or you're wrong. Nu faced holocron heists and lightsaber thieves with cool calm. She nearly fell to Parasite's disguise, but recovered to help Ashoka track a stolen blade. Nu dug into Jedi Master Sifo Dyas's sealed files and briefed the Council on his fatal peace mission. Every secret felt safe under her watch. After Order 66, she went rogue to save the Order spark, sneaking back to the fallen temple. She grabbed a holocron listing for sensitive children. Vader's dark steps echoed in marble halls as she tried to flee. He cornered her in the archives and cut short her final plea for hidden truths. She died knowing the Emperor would twist her list into dark recruits. Irony lives on in stories of a knowledge gatekeeper blind to new truths. Without fresh eyes and open minds, archives can become tombs. Jocasta Nu had a library card but no reading between the lines. Her legacy reminds Jedi that facts are fuel, but only lights can guide the way. Ahsoka Tano, initially. Snips, the chatterbox. Her boundless energy could light up a starship or send you running for earplugs. I'll admit, her pep rallies grew on me, but is she an overrated novice or a sneaky firecracker in disguise? Early in the series, Ahsoka chirped through missions with victory cries and peppy quips that grated on veteran viewers. Critics pointed to over-eager dialogue and cheer that never seemed to rest. In her debut arc, Ahsoka helped rescue Jabba's son, but her innocence was cracked in Season 5. When a bomb exploded, the Jedi Council seized on her inexperience, tried her in a rush to judgments, then cleared her name when the sealed saboteur was caught. That ordeal ended with Ahsoka walking away from the Order. Her exile marked the turning point in her reputation. Gone was chirpy novice. In her place stood a rogue hero riding into action with white lightsabers and steely focus. Rebel fans cheered as she re-emerged under the codename Fulcrum, trading quips for whispered guidance. Viewers who once rolled their eyes at her chatter now applauded her calm wisdom and fierce loyalty. Ashoka's path from hated rookie to beloved rogue reshaped her story and the Star Wars narrative. She left the Order on a high note, lightsaber high, slicing through bias and carving out her legend. Her early missteps and fiery spirits reminds us that a little enthusiasm can spark change as early as a lightsaber can cut through steel. Rey. Scavenger turned legend in 3 films flat. Her rise looks like a highlight reel with zero rehearsals. I get the empowerment vibe, but is she an overrated prodigy or proof that hope trumps training manuals? Fans barked Mary Sue at her instant mech skills, pilot flair, and lightsaber chops that seemed to leap years ahead of training. Rey's journey kicked off with haunting Force visions in The Force Awakens and a hand-me-down lightsaber duel with Kylo Ren that left viewers stunned by her raw power. In The Last Jedi, she tapped into a secret bond with Ren, testing her resolve and hinting at hidden strength. By The Rise of Skywalker, she trained under both Luke and Leia, and facing down a resurrected Palpatine, wielding Force lightning, even Palpatine would envy. Her path to Jedi knighthood skipped steps but never dipped in style. Critics say her upgrade curve was too steep. Supporters argue she's hope made flesh, a fresh legacy beyond the Skywalker name. She carried the saga's weight on her shoulders and handed it forward by claiming the name Skywalker to honor her mentors and seal a new chapter. Fun aside, she went from desert junk piles to heroic headlines faster than you can say Star Wars. Rey's power jump may have raised eyebrows, but it also lit a spark of possibility. She proved a hero need not follow an old map to find a new path in the Force. There you have 10 of the Jedi we love to critique. Stars with stumbles, masters with missteps. Which flawed favorite surprises you most? And who deserves a second chance? Let us know below.